3, 2, 1. And we are live on the Quadcast episode 7. The Quadra Quadcast here. We are back again. And we got my friend Rena Patrick in here. Long-time Quadra local. And happy to have her in. We've been chatting about... There you go. Yeah, get cozy, whatever you need. We've been chatting about doing this for a while, and happy to have her in. I've known Rena since I was young, really. And why don't you tell us how you got here, really?
I believe I used to babysit you
when
you
really?
were 5 or
Oh,
something.
really? Nice. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, you came into our lives. You came to my dad's place, I guess,
I
right?
did, yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you about how I got here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually hitchhiked up from Victoria.
Okay.
In October. After I was like about 17 years
old. By yourself?
Old. Yeah, by myself.
Yeah.
And I'd sold my motorbike, and I had to live somewhere for the winter, and couldn't, my job had ended and all that, so I was volunteering to help build a house on Quadra.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Which was your dad's.
Which was my dad's.
Yeah.
How did you find out about that?
There was a advertisement.
Scooch up a bit here.
There was an advertisement for it stuck on a wall at a laundromat in Victoria.
Oh, really? Whoa. Okay. I wonder if he put it there or who put it there.
Actually, I think it was at a hostel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Weird. Okay.
Before the days.
Yeah. So you saw a note saying
mass communication.
Yeah.
Stuff like that got around with
yeah, exactly.
Notices and stuff. So I phoned him up.
There was a phone number,
yeah, and asked if I could do that for a month or two. And he said, yeah, sure.
Yeah, come on up, help out. Exactly. You want to help? Sure. Okay. So you hitchhiked up by yourself, 17.
Yeah.
Whoa. And
it was a bright, beautiful, sunny day.
Had you hitchhiked before, or that was your first time?
I'd hitchhiked a bit before, but, it was my first time coming up the inside. I mean, the highway, it was the old highway.
The old highway,
The new one wasn't built yet.
Yeah. And,
I got a ride with somebody, one ride right from Victoria to Campbell River. And we stopped by a beach and smoked some weed, and they was saying, "Oh, the best in the world grows right where you're moving." Right where you're going to Quadra.
Yeah, perfect.
You are going to be
true.
In luck.
World renowned now, right?
And I was, so it's like, oh, is this looking better?
Yeah.
This is looking better with every mile.
Yeah, exactly.
And
so you got a ride. One ride, Victoria to Quadra.
Yeah,
or to Campbell
River.
Nice. Easy.
Yeah.
So then you hopped on the ferry.
Yeah. Met your dad.
Dad picked you up off the ferry. Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and
how far was the house along there when you came up? Like, it was probably not.
Well, the windows were still plastic.
Yeah.
I helped with the drywall in what became the suite.
Okay. Nice.
I helped install a cat door for Wally.
Oh yeah, Wally. Nice. Yeah. Nice. That's cool. So you rolled it, and Dad wasn't much of a weed smoker there, so that was a bit of a surprise. You're like, okay.
No, but Andre was.
Andre was. Oh yeah, he was there. Yeah. I remember old Andre. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Have you heard from him at all, or what?
No, not for years.
Yeah. My dad. He gets phone calls from random travelers now and again. I don't know if he's kept in touch in the last few years, but I know he has. He's come back, right?
Yeah.
So.
And I got into going mushroom picking. It was like a really good.
Yeah.
Mushroom picking season.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's cool. So you guys were eating well. Nice. That's good. So how long did you stay there for at Dad's?
Well, on and off.
On and off.
On and off for a while, because I I reconnected with my family a bit.
Here or?
No, my family all lived in Saskatchewan
at the time.
Okay. Yeah.
That's where you grew up then? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I grew up in Saskatchewan. I always wanted to see the ocean.
Nice.
I ended up spending many years living and working on boats.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Yeah, you fulfilled that dream.
Totally took up the West Coast lifestyle.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, you lived there for a bit, and you like found some. Did you find work on Quadra, or what did you do to like sustain yourself here?
A bit.
Yeah.
There was some work, and I went clam digging.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, before it became an occupation of the elderly.
Yeah. It was good money, or
it was
decent?
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did various odd things like pixelel and clam digging.
Yeah. Well, you got to be creative to live on Quadra financially, right? So, so then you said you did a bunch of boating, though, right?
Yeah.
What did you do for boating?
Well,
lots, obviously, but so you came here and you hadn't really done much boating when you came to Quadra. Did you meet some boat connects, or?
I did, yeah.
Okay. Can you do like Arctic Passage or something like that? What did you do up there?
I did. There's someone.
There he is.
Oh, sorry, I hope I'm not disturbing.
Yeah, we're having a little chat here. Why don't you come back in a bit?
Okie dokie.
Thanks, man.
Okay.
But yeah, no,
Anyways, I
worked at the HBI for a bit.
Oh, really?
And first experience of living on a boat was living at the dock at the HBI while I was working there.
Nice. Yeah. You pretty much have to work at the HBI at some point if you're going to be a Quadra local.
Yeah. So that was the first
boat experience.
First actual job that wasn't of my own making on the island here. Yeah.
That's cool. What did you do in the Arctic, though? I thought you did some Arctic trip on the boat?
Yeah.
What was that about?
That was with the Vancouver Maritime Museum.
Okay.
It was Voyage of Rediscovery, it was called, but it was traced the path of the St. Roch. It circumnavigated North America, but I wasn't on it for the part where it went from Halifax to Panama and Vancouver. I joined it in Vancouver.
To go up.
They had a really rough time on the trip to Vancouver, and half the crew quit. So they hadn't really picked me, but they had ended up calling up their backup people for the trip to the Arctic, of which
you're on the backup recruits list.
Yeah.
Nice.
I got to go to the Arctic Ocean.
Nice. So did you ice break through the?
Yeah.
Wow.
We did some ice breaking.
That's pretty crazy.
And yeah, it was.
Did you have a job? Did you have a job on board, or what?
Yeah, it was. It was a steward and deckhand.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, they were escorting an RCMP boat, the St. Roch too, which was originally the Nadon. It used to be the RCMP patrol boat around here, but it was out of commission at the time. And it was out of commission because it had seized up its engines, destroying marijuana off of Cortez Island.
Really?
Yes, by throwing it in the ocean and running over it.
Whoa.
And it was a high-speed catamaran, and some got stuck in the intake, and it severely overheated and wrecked it.
Yeah.
So it had
bad move there.
It had been a rebuild had been sponsored by the Vancouver Maritime Museum in order to have a real RCMP boat for this trip.
That's cool.
So
that was the mission, really, was to do the escort.
That was the boat that I helped escort through the Northwest Passage. And we also were doing archaeological research, looking for Sir John Franklin and the 2 ships and 200 people that he'd lost up there in the 1800s.
And they were still stuck up there, or it's still there.
Their remains were still there.
Yeah. Yeah. Whoa. But you didn't find them.
No.
Yeah.
We got directed by local people who lived around there, some Inuit people who knew where some graves were, but we didn't really find much. I found a piece of hemp rope in the Arctic that might have been an artifact from it.
That's cool.
I mean, I thought it was garbage, but it ended up being really fragile, natural fibers, been there for years.
Yeah. So how long did that take? Like, how long
It
did it
was-
take to go around
It was
there?
a 3-month trip.
Whoa, 3 months on board.
Yeah,
It was good though, positive energy.
pretty good.
Go all the way there, and you have to fly home, I guess.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it was. We got a ticket, ticket back from Halifax out of
Yeah.
the deal there.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, aside from that boat, you said you've done a bunch of boating around here, though. Have you owned your own boats or what?
Yeah, I have.
And how was that?
Mixed experience.
Mixed experience. Fair.
It was great.
Yeah.
You know,
Did you live on them, or were they just pleasure boats?
I lived on them.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
I lived on boats for many years.
Yeah.
And then I think it's a good experience for people to have to build or maintain their own home.
Of course. Yeah.
And yeah, it's like a good experience of independence and
Yeah.
self-sufficiency, and you really get a feel for your own and personal environmental impact, having to deal with the
Totally.
day-to-day kind of thing.
Got to bring everything on board and everything off board. You got to,
Yeah,
really manage your water and your food, and
yeah.
you really sure
So-
realize how much garbage builds up, and yeah.
It's stuff that like a lot of people don't even think of hardly.
Yeah.
And even well-intentioned people who are trying to look at the big picture and save the environment, but never have the experience of managing their own personal impact.
Well, yeah.
And I lived in some RVs, trucks,
Yeah.
that kind of thing, where it's a similar kind of
Totally.
situation.
Camper van life. Well, it's amazing, people nowadays, you think they have yourself figured out, but really people can't even deal with their own shit. They have to have the city or pay for somebody to come and deal with it, right? It's just like, oh man, and it's like, your can't even deal with your own garbage, right? It's like we have this dump implemented. It's pretty wild that, this is the system that we have. Sometimes I look at the system that we have, I'm like, who designed this in a lot of ways?
Well, it's really seems to be engineered for stupidity, because
Mhm.
I mean the world is, nothing in the natural world, nothing is wasted, right?
Mhm.
There's always whatever some creature leaves behind, there's some other creature that eats it or whatever,
exactly.
right? Yeah,
Exactly.
it's like people with their with their septic systems, and they're all upset because tree roots reach down into it and wreck it. Well, that's what your shit is supposed to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Trees.
Exactly.
That's what you evolved for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's amazing how fast the Mother Nature will take over. It's like if you don't do anything to that path for a year, if you don't, go to that part of your yard even, right? You're like, whoa, nature is taking over here, right?
Yeah.
Even the vehicles, you see it, right? It's like you can't leave a vehicle for a winter here without mold and mildew and pine needles, and you got grass growing. It's like, holy shit.
My friend and I went down island to maybe buy a Volkswagen Jetta
No.
one time, and we thought it had this camo interior until we opened the door.
Mold interior.
Mold,
Oh yeah, brutal.
It's disgusting.
Classic West Coast, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
I've
gross.
written poetry about that.
Oh yeah, the moldy vehicles.
Yeah, well, so it's a funny little rhyme I came up with, is the Midas of the West Coast.
Oh, he's the Midas of the West Coast?
Yeah.
You know it? Or what?
I could try to remember it.
Yeah.
When Midas lived in ancient Greece, everything he touched turned to gold. People followed him everywhere, never complained about the mess when he left things lying around. Yeah, but when Midas came to the West Coast, everything he touched turned to mold, and things were not the same. No, my friends, his famous golden touch had turned a little green and gray. He felt in his hands a dampness, a squish, and a strange soft fuzz. Everywhere he went, those mold spores bloomed.
Yeah, it's totally where you touch too,
Yeah.
right? You can see it's like, ooh, the wheel is so gross. And anywhere you touch, oh yeah, it's like the cheese, right? The cheese goes moldy right where you touch it, right? It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, so you did poetry on Cortez Radio. I listened to a whack of your poetry on the Homegrown show there. How long have you been doing that for?
I've been doing the Homegrown show since 2011.
Nice.
And I'm still doing it.
Do you go over or do you do it on Quadra? And
I mostly do it remotely. Make it on my computer. I've gotten some microphones and programs and stuff, so I can make the show and send it in.
Oh, okay. So you just get to make it at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect.
So I also did it while I was working as a Lighthouse Keeper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So you had lots of time on your hands there, clearly.
Yeah, but not very good internet connection.
Oh yeah. So you could prep the shows there, and then
kind of difficult to send it in there, and it didn't always work. But
yeah. Where were you doing the Lighthouse gig?
I've gone all over the BC coast doing it.
Nice.
I've worked at about half of them.
Oh, how many are there?
There's 27 that are still staffed.
That are staffed.
Yeah.
So like the one on Quadra is an unstaffed, or is that staffed?
There's people work at the one on Quadra.
Oh, there is. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. Have you worked that one?
I have.
You have. So what do you have to do being a lighthouse keeper? I have no idea.
You have to do weather reports
and send them into the
that's sort of what
CBC
provides.
pretty much, right?
No, not to CBC. It goes to like the Coast Guard.
Oh, okay.
For the marine.
Oh yeah, marine weather. Yeah. Okay.
And you collect environmental climate data for Environment Canada.
Yeah, just a joker.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So. Well, that's pretty good. How did you have to apply for a Lighthouse gig or what?
Yeah.
Okay. And you got the gig and you are still doing it? So what, are you like on call or how does that
I was on call for a lot of it.
Okay. So then if somebody has to go on vacation and they need the lighthouse,
that kind of thing,
they'll call you up. Oh yeah. You're like the substitute lighthouse keeper.
Except that it was adversely affected by that Phoenix Payroll scandal, and so it's really unreliable about paying.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like you'll work and then they won't pay you?
Yeah, or it takes a year to get paid and stuff like that. So
it's like a government program, so it's like a bureaucracy holdups or whatever.
That kind of thing. It's like, they got a new computer program.
Yeah.
It loses stuff all the time.
Classic. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's been going on for so there's another really good, interesting job down the tubes.
Yeah. You've had a very interesting, unique, diverse jobs along the way. Not your average. What have you been up to lately? Are you still working, or are you chilling, or what are you up to on living it up on Quadra?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Lately I'm selling hot sauce and hot sauce relish, barbecue sauce, chutneys at the market.
Okay.
At the various markets.
Nice.
Yeah. I go to a few on Vancouver Island.
Okay, not just the Quadra ones even.
Quadra, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And so what's your fave to do? The hot sauce or the?
Hot sauce.
Hot sauce. And you grow peppers, or what do you just buy peppers or what?
Both.
Little of both? Yeah.
Little of both. I can't really grow enough to fill the need.
So what do? You have to like put them all in the food processor, or I haven't really made hot sauce. I don't want to give all the secrets away.
Yeah, right. Various.
Like you cook it?
There's various techniques. Some's cooked, some's just marinated, some's
And then you can it, or?
Yeah, bottle it.
Can it.
Yeah, and it's controlled with acidity and that kind of thing. So.
Good side gig.
Yeah.
That's cool. And so this summer you're gonna be rocking the Quadra Farmers Market down here at the bay?
Probably.
Or at the Cove?
Probably,
nice. Nice. Yeah, I want to get down there and do that market again. Actually, that market has been pretty bumping. over the years. It's actually almost like outgrown its space there. I'm waiting for the expansion to happen.
It's really picked up in recent years. It was it's really gotten going, really taken off.
Yeah, I didn't even do it once last year. I don't think. I was just been busy doing my own thing, but I've done it for.
It's become a vibrant and diverse farmers market.
Yeah, totally. I think I did get there once this last summer actually, but it's cool to see all the people come back and like the tourists, and it's nice to have on the island for sure.
And stuff like that should be encouraged, because you got to break the old corporate monopolies that are trying to take over everything, right?
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to our food supply.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's very true. It was scary even seeing Tofino there being shut down for those couple of days. They with that rock slide or whatever. I was seeing some pictures on the Instagram from some friends of mine that were showing the grocery stores just empty.
Yeah.
Right, in just a matter of days. Right, in Quadra, we only have 2 small grocery stores, which shit goes down here pretty quick. Those are going to be empty fast, right?
Yeah.
So, make sure you got those pantries stocked with hot sauce and relish. I love relish, though. We got a bunch of relish that we did this year, and we've been getting through it. I love, it's preserves are one of those things that sometimes you're like, well, how are we going to get through 26 jars of relish, right? But then you're like, oh yeah, okay, and it's good bartering, good trading, and
more useful than you would have thought.
Exactly, right?
I also dry a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't done much drying, like with the dehydrator. Or,
yeah. Dehydrating is a really good way to preserve fruits and vegetables.
I know my dad did a bunch of fruit leathers there for years. They were really good. Those.
Yeah.
Yeah, those dehydrated plums and all that. Yeah, I love those. Oh, it's making my mouth water thinking about those fruit leathers. So good.
Yeah, right.
I got a bunch of cherries actually that I was thinking about bringing to fermentations there. I was just looking through my freezer and I got like bags of cherries. I was like, oh man, I think I might see if I can bring those in, see if I can get them to do a little dessert wine or something like that. I'm getting a little sick of cherry sauce on everything.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, so Barb Mendell had a couple of questions here that maybe I'll just go over and give you a quick one too, and see if you can come up with some fun answers for us. So I'll just bring those up here. Shout out to Barb. I'm really looking forward to having her on the Quadcast here as well. But I think we've covered a couple of these, but when did you come to Quadra? What year? It was
92.
92.
Yes.
Wow. And you're, I'd say you're a local by now. Right? Yeah, it's awesome, Rena. It's been awesome getting to know you around here. What else do we got? Where were you born? Saskatchewan?
Yeah.
Where does your family originate from? Saskatchewan or?
Yeah.
Ish. So you grew up on the prairies.
I did.
Ooh, cold. What kind of jobs have you had on Quadra? Everything from clam digging to lighthouse keeping, I guess, eh?
Yeah.
That's cool. And what would you like to see built on Quadra, even if you had an unlimited $1 million budget? Or you're going to need probably $1 billion budget now, because $1 million doesn't really go too far nowadays.
Yeah. Well, I would like to see more of a food forest here.
A food forest, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Like in cultivated spaces, cultivated green spaces because the island is capable of growing so much food, and a lot of it is just ignored or even treated as a nuisance. I mean, I'd like to see a blackberry orchard.
Sure.
You know, everybody always wants to destroy the
20 strains cultivated properly, right? Yeah.
But I mean, everybody always wants to destroy the pesky blackberries, but we should actually be taking advantage of a beautiful fruit that grows here prolifically without us doing anything. You know, I mean,
and provides hundreds of pounds of
hundreds of pounds, yes. I mean, you know, Quadra could be the blackberry orchard of the world.
Yeah.
You know,
it's incredible, really, right? Yeah.
In fact, all we'd have to do is build some trellises.
Yeah. Yeah, really, right? It's incredible how simple some gardening thing can be, and I totally agree with that. I think that, you know, if we had some, you know, any kind of more green space that is incorporated in Quadra, incorporating some food in there, you know, why don't you have, you know, 26 of the Quadra's edible plants planted along the path in the community center with, you know, it's like these are kind of simple things, but it just needs, you know, it needs talking about it, needs some initiative, it needs somebody to be excited about it and do it, right?
You know, it's like they did a big reno at the Harriet Bay dock.
Yeah.
And they got rid of a bunch of wild cherries, plums, and crabapple trees from along the causeway. But you know, stuff for future generations, because, you know,
rather than replacing it with a Japanese maple, you know.
Yeah, all kinds of boaters and, you know, locals and that picked there, right? Like,
exactly.
You know, without having to go in anybody's yard.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's definitely the direction that that we should be going. You know, it's scary to look at the other direction, and the other direction is more of that. It's the control, the control of the whole food market, the control of us, you know, and managing what we eat, right? It's, you know, if they control what you eat, then, you know, it's mass control of the people in a sense, right? So, you know, third eye, I know. But yeah, it's one of those things that, you know, we definitely have to be aware of, you know, what you put inside of your body. I think that we're really lucky here on Quadra. Our grocery stores are pretty good. You know, if they were filled full of crap, I don't think anybody would go there. We have like a pretty picky audience. So I feel like, you know, we're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's always room for improvements, right?
But also what I'd really like to see built here, and it would be, I'd like to see some land opened up for people to live in their own innovative housing at low expense.
Huge. This is huge.
This, you know, like I was saying earlier about the stuff that the opportunities that I took advantage of when I was younger, and, you know,
living in a boat, living in a van.
Yeah. And I wouldn't have really, but even like, you know, making a, you know, living that didn't really work out, but I wouldn't have been able to do that if it hadn't have been okay for me to live in my boat and my van. And, you know, I did try various artistic endeavors as well during that time that, you know, didn't really go that far, but I at least had the chance to try, which is more than a lot of people have in the current climate. So I think that in order, you know, for people to have the experience of living a bit independently, some land should be available for that.
Well, and that's what it's called. It's building community, right? And, you know, it's sad to see people on Quadra getting pushed off because there's nowhere for them to live, right? And that's something that, man, it's unfortunate when you see, you know, all of this area, all of this land, all of these empty houses. You know, there's a house right next to my shop that's empty 350 days out of the year, and I would kill to rent that place.
Yeah.
You know, and it just, it's one of those things, you know. So,
Yeah, that kind of stuff is
Drives you a bit crazy, but
it's also too it affects so many aspects of life that you don't even realize.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what makes for competition between people who want to make the same thing to be a bit more harsher than it really needs to be. I mean, I would like to help other people that want to do the same thing as me. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
In a thriving environment
Exactly.
where everybody can benefit, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at that piece of property across the road here, and if there's any super rich investors out there that want to invest and buy that property so we can do a little dream community across the road with some arts, yoga studios, some small housing, cooperative gardening, that piece of property there allows for some crazy development. If I had the resources to do it, I would. And I know there are a lot of people out there that do, and they're just looking for places to put their money. So, come chat if you want to do. I know that there's lots of room for development in Quadra. I feel like if the right people do it, it's going to be good. If the wrong people do it, it could be detrimental for the island. It's going to be really interesting to see. A lot of these new resorts have new owners. It's going to be interesting to see how they either flourish or go under really in the next few years, right?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of another thing that I thought of that would housing troubles too, is that when resorts go bankrupt, which happens quite frequently,
Sure,
and especially if they get like repossessed by banks or governments or whatever, that there should be some kind of requirement that instead, during for a number of years, it gets rented out as housing during its time of trouble and dispute and stuff, so that so that it solves the problem instead of just sitting there or waiting for the next person to fail that.
Yeah, you see these just empty beds and empty rooms, and it's just like, oh man, it's pretty wild.
I mean, that's a way, that's a way that it could all be changed with just a slight change of regulation. Like a slight change of a rule instead of when property gets taken away, like business properties like resorts and that, instead of having them resold immediately, have them rented out.
Even as temporary rentals,
rate.
It's like some people could just use that temporary rental as that jumper step, even if they could have a place for 6 months or whatever. That could mean the world to people. So even if you're out there considering renting your place, and you're on the fence about it or whatever, you're concerned about rentals, just think, man, you could be making somebody's life so much better just by giving an opportunity for someone, right? So I don't know. I wish I had bought it in the, looking back, it's just like, if I would have played the real estate game a little bit more, maybe in today's day, I would be able to go and buy some of these places and offer some rentals to people or whatever, right? But, currently we're still kind of having to analyze the situation and kind of, try to make our best go at it from where we're at, right?
Well, that's the thing too. I mean, like my thoughts when I was doing that stuff too is like to live simply, right?
Yeah.
Not take more than what you really need in that. And who was to know that that if you had took more than you really need, well, now when things change, you can share more, right?
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I thought it was the better thing to not be greedy all along.
Yeah, no, it's very true. And it's you can look back at decisions you could have made and different ways, but this is kind of the path that we were in a way destined to do, and it's not a lot you can really change. That's the way I look at it. It's gonna work out as it's gonna work out anyways. Kind of you kind of have to be just open to things happening, and they come. It's pretty like my dad was in here saying the other day. It's like as soon as you let yourself be open to like not intuition, but like things happening for a reason. it keeps going exponentially faster. Every time something new will happen, you kind of go, oh yeah, I do believe in that, you know, and it just keeps happening, right? So, you know, it's interesting times that we're living in here. It's pretty cool that we get to do things like this and have discussions with cool people, and yeah, it's really neat getting to chat with you. Do you have any parting words of wisdom to the world, or things that you'd like to say to people for 2020 to wish them a good year? Well, Rena, I look forward to seeing you around more on the island. I really appreciate you coming in and chatting. Thanks for coming on the Quadcast. We'll even have you again in here sometime as well. Love to get you in on the Quadcast. If you want to come in and have a discussion, we'd love to have you in. And hopefully you guys enjoy your Wednesday. Maybe we'll see you at community lunch today. So have yourself a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.